Hey guys. Hey, so I wanted to come on live with you all again today. Last week we had a really great question and answer session talking about stress hormones and how they affect your body's ability to lose weight. This week I'm going to tackle another really great question, and I hope that it's helpful for a lot of you guys. So one of the questions I received from you is, why did God make me an endomorph? And I think this is such a fabulous question. It really raises the question. It raises the question about all of the different body types and why. So I don't know if you've heard about body typing, or what can sometimes be called somatotypes. It's essentially nutritionists and scientists have over the years kind of clumped people according to their metabolic processes into a couple different body types, and they reflect someone's typical shape, size, the way their metabolism works. So there's a couple different body types that are pretty common across the spectrum. The fun thing is understanding our own unique body type and the strengths and the challenges that each of us have with the different body types. Okay, so what we must understand is that not one body type is better than another, okay? And I think that's really hard for all of us to grasp, because usually the grass is greener on the other side, right? Usually what we're not, we wish that we could become. And usually the things that we're struggling with about our own body type are the struggles that we wish would disappear. So I'm going to kind of review the different body types that God designed all of us as, and then specifically talk to the endomorphs, because I think that's the group that are particularly struggling mentally with their own body type and just need some better, clear direction on the choices that they need to make. So first of all, the first body type I want to address is the ectomorph body type. And this is a person that is typically slender. They have really thin limbs. They have long, lean frame. Think marathon runners, like a traditional, those that excel at distance running. The challenges that they face is that they have a difficult time building and maintaining muscle mass. So an ectomorph, someone who's long and slender, has really thin limbs, fast metabolism, their challenge that they have to face is that their body doesn't naturally build muscle mass that easily, so they have to work even harder at getting stronger and feeling like they're not fragile. The next body type is a mesomorph. I am a natural mesomorph. Mesomorphs are kind of the natural athletes in their group. They seem to feel like they always kind of look athletic. Putting on muscle mass is easy. In fact, sometimes just looking at a dumbbell will make your muscles pop. The challenge for a mesomorph is more of an aesthetic one. I think those of us women that are mesomorphs kind of have to get to a point where we learn to embrace this body type, which sometimes can feel very masculine, even though it's not. It's just the way God designed us. And kind of embrace being part of the thick neck and big arm and shoulder club, and just know that we are capable of a lot of strength and speed. So mesomorphs are capable of a lot physically. Now finally, endomorphs, and this is the one where everybody wants to know more about. So an endomorph is someone who is naturally thicker or broader. Their metabolism tends to be on the slower side just naturally, okay? So their whole body processes, they just function a little bit slower. And they might even, personality-wise, might be a really relaxed person. So it's kind of funny that even personality, it can come through too. Their body generally has a difficult time using body fat as a primary source of fuel, so that can be super challenging for an endomorph. Hi, Sonia. Their body really likes to use sugar as a source of fuel. So getting their bodies to kind of switch over to burning fat is a challenge. But for an endomorph will always, always, always be the strongest person in the group. They excel at weightlifting, powerlifting, those power sports. Typically, if you walk into a CrossFit gym, the majority of the people that are really excelling in that room are natural endomorphs, okay? So they're always going to be usually the strongest, most powerful women in a group of people. So this is where it can get a little confusing, okay? So those categories were like, okay, yeah, but I don't feel like I necessarily fall into one of those categories in particular. One thing is helpful to understand is that the other body types, mesomorph body type and the ectomorph body type, so the long and slender as the ectomorph and person who's more of a mesomorph, the athletic build, they can begin to resemble an endomorph with their metabolic profile, maybe difficulty losing fat, and maybe even weight gain due to their lifestyle choices, okay? So through poor eating habits, a lack of physical activity, maybe a greater amount of stress in their life, over time their body can no longer look what it is genetically designed to look like. They can actually switch their hormonal profile to begin to resemble an endomorph. And so we'll have a lot of people out there that could be a true ectomorph, but because of the choices that they've made getting out of shape, they now feel like they must be an endomorph, okay? So it could be stress, like we talked about last week, stress hormones that affects your body's ability to use fat as a primary fuel source. When your body is really stressed, it really affects your insulin production and the way your sugars are going to get stored, and so that can have a big impact on someone's body type. Eating a lot of carbs, so having that as your primary source of fuel, your body will over time kind of shift to using only that as its primary source of fuel. And then of course a lack of metabolism boosting style of exercise, and that could be anything like distance running. It's not a metabolism boosting style of exercise. Something that's high intensity, like heavy weightlifting, HIIT style workouts, those types of workouts are definitely more metabolism boosting exercise. And so without that, your body can begin to resemble more of an endomorph. So over time, your body kind of starts to slow down, starts to prioritize carbs as fuel. Yeah, Sheila, I'm so glad you're learning so much. And then which in turn, when your body starts to prioritize carbs as fuel, whether that's because of stress, kind of that chronic stress that we talked about last week, or whether it's because of just overeating carbs and or overeating food in general, processed carbs, sugar, or a lack of good healthy fats in your diet, it in turn creates an insulin boost in your body and will start to lead to fat storage. Okay, so all of those conditions, and I'm not expecting you to understand how it all works, but all of those conditions can take someone who is a true ectomorph or a mesomorph and start to change their profile and make them feel more like an endomorph. So hopefully that is kind of eye-opening and make you realize that you're not necessarily a true endomorph. However, there are a lot of true endomorphs, okay? So the answer for true endomorphs, and for those that have altered their profile over time, their metabolic profile over time to begin to resemble a true endomorph, is that it's important that you start to prime the pump, okay? And you need to do everything you can to turn your body's main source of fuel into fat. You need to get your body to switch to burning carbs as its primary source of fuel to burning fat as its primary source of fuel. And I'm going to give you some tips in a minute on how we can do that. You need to work on speeding the metabolism in every way you can. And then you need to work on incorporating workouts that is the primary job, is it's metabolism boosting style workouts. Distance running is not going to do it. That's not the type of workout that is going to improve and boost your metabolism. You need high intensity weightlifting style workouts. That is what is going to, and honestly, you're probably going to like it more anyway. So someone who's a true endomorph, that is what their body was kind of designed to do. So you'll probably enjoy it so much more than like just going for a run, okay? So here's what it's important to remember when you're putting together meals, okay? There's a couple things that you have to prioritize. Hey, Kate. So as someone who is an endomorph or over time through their lifestyle habits has changed their metabolic profile to begin to resemble more of an endomorph, probably your goals are to lose body fat. So and to change your metabolism back to prime stuff, okay? So the best way to do that is to eat consistent meals. Don't skip your meals. This goes back to things I taught you last week about stress. The other important thing is to make sure that each one of those meals are extremely high in protein. That always needs to be the star of your dish. You must have a good amount of protein with every single meal, okay? The next thing is that you need to make sure that your meals are really high in vegetables. And in fact, for someone who's more of an endomorph or has that profile, that metabolic profile of one, it's best if your veggie to fruit ratio is about 5:1, that you're eating 5 vegetables for every 1 fruit. Just making that transition, and usually for most of my girls I say, hey, let's just work on getting produce in general, but once you've gotten good at eating produce in general, we can change and shift that to being a little bit more vegetables than the fruit. And then of course we want to make sure that with every meal that we're eating plenty of healthy fats. Nuts, seeds, avocados, olives, olive oil, fish, taking fish oil supplements on a regular basis, usually a little bit more than what the bottle is going to tell you, okay? All of those things help. Starchier carbs, processed carbohydrates, sugars, processed food in general, those things need to be really limited. Those are the things that are gonna cause your body to want to burn carbs as fuel instead of body fat as fuel. Okay, so we need to get those kind of in the background. Of course, every once in a while you can have a splurge, and I usually say if your goal is to lose body fat, 3 to 4 splurges per week are totally fine. They're not gonna upset your progress. So make sure you leave those types of foods for that occasion. All the other times, lots of protein, lots of vegetables, lots of healthy fat. Whole grains, gets where it gets confusing for many. Whole grains and other very nutritious starchier carbohydrates, pasta, rice, potatoes, and grains like that. They're very nutritious and healthy, and yes, they have a lot of fiber. However, if you are an endomorph and you're trying to get your body to start to use some of your fat stores as fuel sources and start to burn some of your fat, it's usually best to leave those starchier carbohydrates for a workout that you're gonna eat soon after one of your, or a meal that you're gonna eat soon after one of your workouts, okay? That's when your body is going to use it at its best, okay? So hopefully that kind of clears it up a little bit, whether or not, what kind of body type you are and how maybe you've always been like really slender limbs, but you still feel like you have a lot of weight to lose. Or maybe you are a true endomorph and you're at your absolute fittest, yet you still feel kind of thick and strong. You're a true endomorph. Embrace it. It's beautiful. It's not worse or better than any of the other body types. Just know that God designed you specifically for that. We just need to pull out your strengths, give you good tools on how to eat so that you don't have the challenges of being overweight, and get you feeling super strong. So listen, if you need more help with this, I actually have a endomorph meal plan sample. I will link in the comments below, so come back and check. I'm gonna link that. There's a sample endomorph meal plan for free on my website. It can kind of show you what a typical day of endomorph meals should look like. And then of course, if you need any more help, the Strong Mamas coaching program is a really great place to be. There's actually a full endomorph meal plan. I'm planning on adding more of those. And actually this whole week in the coaching group, we've been talking a lot about all of our body types. And I'm really helping the girls get it figured out so that they can feel like they can take a more customized approach to their whole fitness and nutrition. So please, if you have more questions, let me know on all this body typing stuff. I think it's so fun because I think it shows us how we're all so beautifully designed and we all bear the image of God in our own unique ways, which is pretty cool. So thanks for joining me. We'll see you guys next time.